It's like really, really. Oh, it's because you're wearing a black shirt. Hello. Welcome to our replay. Those of you who are seeing this now. No, it's still really bright. I'm going to turn it down a little touch. Sorry, we replaced our light bulbs. So it's just like completely throwing us off. That's better. That's a lot better. All right. What is up, guys? Hello. Oh, sweet Miah's going to eat dinner over there. And you're just going to have me for a little bit. Hello from rainy, wet Georgia. Well, hello, Katie from rainy, wet Arkansas. It's been raining very hard for the last couple hours. But it was supposed to rain all day, and it didn't. Hey, guys. Hey, Farmer Miah, Andrew, Danielle, making lemonade from lemons, Renee, Darling Camp. Oh, from Canada. Cool. Yeah, the weather, we've been getting a lot done the last few days. It's not my favorite to work in. It's been really kind of coolish. I mean, those of you in the north are like, ha, ha, ha. It's not cool. It's been southern cool. Goodness. Hello. All of these comments. Hey, North Star Prep Stutter, what's up? Cool, Tarina. I'm glad to hear that. I'm doing well, Grandpa's Farm. So, hey, Tanya Wiley, how are y'all? So for those of you who are joining us for the first time on live, if you have questions, please put them in caps. This chat moves really fast. We try to answer things, but of course we don't get to everything, but feel free to repeat your question if it doesn't get seen. Buffalo, I bet it's still cold up there. Snow Saturday, 60 degrees today. And Tamika, yeah, that's really difficult. What would you plant in a plastic coffee can, a 2-pound can? So what is that like? You'd probably plant a pepper in that. I'd probably plant, a pepper would probably be good in a coffee can like that. Oh, yeah, Megan, a lot of people are getting their Rise and Shine shirts in. I'm so excited. I've been getting tagged in a lot of pictures, and they look really great. What was my first YouTube video? Well, we started a channel with some friends of ours. This channel originally was with some friends of ours, and I'd really felt like we were going to do a YouTube channel, but I wasn't really keen on the timing. I didn't feel like it was really great timing. And but then we had a friend that kind of talked us into it. And so we did a handful of videos with him. They're still on the beginning of the channel. Somebody asked if Bear is an outside dog. Bear is a wherever I am dog. He's under my feet right now. He's almost always right underneath my feet. Flip off that wall. So that our webcam is kind of having a hard time coming in and out. We don't really deal with voles, Renee, so that's not something I deal with. Can you bring back the Kitten George shirt? So we had a conversation about this, and Jeremiah was like saying
I thought people would want to just because of the situation.
I wasn't just because I was also, that was like the day after it happened when I made the video.
We don't want to be upset.
Like, I'm not trying to be like opportunistic about it. Right,
that's not really what we're doing at all.
So maybe we've talked about.
I just thought the Kitten George fans might, if they missed getting a shirt, might want to have one.
Yeah.
But honestly, here's the other thing. Because I still have a ton of Kitten George shirts that we had printed. So the next time, if we ever get to go to an event, I'm going to bring them and just give them to people. We're just going to give out Kitten George shirts.
We have not finished our high tunnel. Our videos typically go up the day after. So what you guys saw yesterday was Friday. No. Is that right? Yeah. We filmed that on Friday. And then it rained all day today. So we did a little bit of work, but not a whole lot. What can I do about my leggy seedlings? That really depends on how leggy they are. If they're just a little bit leggy, you can put a fan on them and make sure they have plenty of light. Jana, I'm going to do a video about the green stalk. Do
we want a new kitty? Well,
hold on. Let me finish the question. I was halfway through. with the leggy seedlings, if they're tomatoes or something like that, you can just plant them deeper, but that doesn't work on everything. It works okay with peppers. It doesn't make them stronger, but it makes them kind of less leggy. With some things, specifically brassicas, they have a much harder time recovering, especially when they get really leggy. So are we getting another kitten, or do we want another kitten?
Well, this is part of, there's the mourning part because like you're sad that you miss your friend, but then also on a farm, like things have jobs. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So like Kit Jordan had a job. He did it very well. Honestly, we don't have mice get into our feed. We don't have mice get into our house. We don't have any of that stuff. He keeps rodents and birds out of the garden. The trade-off is he poops in the garden. So I mean, it's catch,
Not always,
but sometimes. And so we still have to have cats outside for farm purposes. So we do actually need other cat.
Well, a friend of mine had just a wild cat in her area, had kittens in her doghouse, which is really random. Shows how much her dog spent outside, which is not a lot. And so she has some kittens, and they're not weaned yet, but she had posted them, and I had asked her, Miah, like a few days before Kitten George passed away, and said, hey, should we get one of these kittens? And I was like, no, I don't want 3 cats. I was like, I don't want to get a 3rd cat. And then whenever he died, I asked her if she would just hold one of those for me. So yeah, we will be getting another kitten. It's not an orange kitten. I don't know if I would have been able to handle like just getting another orange kitten.
Besides, it would not be like Kitten George.
Yeah.
He was pretty unique. Chuck Skeldum, hi from Fargo, North Dakota. I spent a couple years living in Grand Forks, North Dakota. It was the worst time ever.
He wasn't a fan of the frigid north. I visited up there one time when we went to get Miah, and I was shocked. Here in the South, it doesn't stay light that late as it does up there. It's dark, and like the longest day time of the year, it's dark here about like 9:20 or so. It gets real dusky like after 9. So that like blew my mind. Do you can any of your food? Yes, I do have some videos about water bath canning, and I've shown it here and there in videos. You can plant brassicas deep, but it doesn't have the same like effect. Like tomatoes actually benefit from being planted deep. Thank you, Lazy Bunny Homestead. Claire Fluffykins, that's funny. Thank you so much, Morrow. We appreciate that. So, my huge fan. Well, Miss Red, we're glad that you're here tonight. Thank you. Yeah.
Naturally NC. Hey, I channeled my inner Jess yesterday and brought goats home in the back of my SUV. We have 3 Nigerian dwarf goats at our house now, and I'm watching all the goat videos.
Oh, congratulations on your new goats. That's exciting. I approve, obviously. Tips for yellowing tomato seedlings. Jessica, if they've been planted for very long, if they're getting on the big side, like a really mild liquid fertilizer, diluted, just like read the instructions and what it says to do and don't overdo it. That can help because they may just be running out of nutrients. That's one of the main reasons why you get discoloration in seedlings, especially at this point.
You two are the perfect combination of perfect and cute. I'm just curious which one's cute and which one's perfect.
Thank you for that kind comment. Did you glue the rocks together in your new raised beds? No, we did not. They are not mortared or anything. They're just stacked. And we may have to go through at some point and put some sort of mortar down, or figure out dragging a hose through there. Like you end up having to go back and stack up
Kids
places and kids because they want to walk on the edges and stuff. We make some of our own compost, Jessica, but not all. We have too many gardening efforts going on for the amount of compost that we make. So we make some, and then we also purchase quite a bit of it. This year, we've brought in 40 yards of compost, super soil, which is like compost and soil, which is a lot. It's a lot. So But that was because we're filling up a lot of new beds. We're putting raised beds all in that high tunnel, and we're filling all of those. And so we don't have to bring that much in every year. That was just with all the big stuff this year.
Sorry, we've been getting a lot of questions, not even here, but on other videos, like where did we get the rocks? So we have to do raised bed gardening. The reason we have to do raised bed gardening is because of the rocks.
All of those rocks came from our
all
property.
those rocks came from a portion of the field next door. I still have enough to build a house.
Like we could seriously
I could build an
gardens like that all over our property with those rocks. Our ground is rock and shale with a little bit of clay.
And that's just what's sitting on the surface. If I was to, honestly, Richmond Refuge originated as a rock farm. And then we got animals later. Seriously. That's just what's sitting on the surface. If we were to dig it all,
I've had so many comments of people being like, "Oh my gosh, how much money do y'all have to be able to bring in rock like that?" I'm like, "We're loaded, baby.
We're rock rich.
We're just rock rich. That's what it is." Hey, Life on Beagle Road, what is up?
It is a lot of rocks.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So if y'all want rocks, come get them. I actually need them out of the pasture so I can grow grass.
I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for a live stream of my bird table and garden to share the joy I get from it, but I'm not sure of the equipment or whether people would be interested in ideas. I did a series in my postage stamp garden with Morgan Gold from Goldshaw Farm, and if you if you search like Roots and Refuge Goldshaw Farm, it'll probably come up. We've done multiple collaborations together. But we did how many parts was that? It was multiple parts. I can't remember. 3 parts, I think, over the winter. We did like a multi-part series about that. So answer a lot of those questions in depth. Oh, the tinkerer's wife. I just had a discussion with Jeremiah about how close you were to 1,000 subscribers. And I wanted to tell you guys, the tinkerer's wife is right here. Let's see. Can we get it? Can one of my mods, can y'all pull up a link? The tinkerer's wife.
Rock billionaires. That's right.
Yeah, we're rock billionaires. Absolutely. I was noticing, I saw Patty, the tinkerer's wife, went live earlier on Facebook. We're Facebook friends, and she was like really close to hitting 1,000 subscribers. And I wanted to, which she made it there, but I figured we could go ahead and get her solid over. It's the worst is like hitting a milestone and being like, yes, I hit this milestone. And then like one person unsubscribes, and then you're like, oh, and then it's like, a little while later, it's like, yes, I hit it again. But let's make sure she doesn't have to experience that. So if y'all will go check her out, she's up in the Pacific Northwest and is gardening, and she does devotional content like recipes. She's gonna be sharing recipes and stuff. And definitely go check her out and give her some support. That's awesome. Congratulations. It is really awesome to hit those milestones. I don't know. I guess it's kind of a humbling thing to me, at least. Like hitting those is a really humbling thing. Jen G's Aquatics. I have several raised beds coming the second week of May. I'll have to order soil in bulk. It's too much money for bags. What is the best mix ratio of organic soil? That is so dependent on where you live, like what is available where you live. It's kind of hard to say this is what you should order. What we have done with our beds is we've had topsoil delivered, which here is kind of garbage. Like it's just whatever soil is around your area. Like if you lived in an area with great soil and you just ordered topsoil, you would get pretty good soil. Here you get like sandy clay. That a lot of times you order topsoil and it has rocks in it. Like that's just how it is here. And then we also get what's called super soil, which is it's compost essentially. And what we've always done to fill raised beds is we do a bottom layer of just like branches, leaves, yard debris, that sort of thing, and just fill up the bottom few inches. And then we put topsoil in and fill up about half of the bed. And then we top it with like several inches or a few inches, probably 5 or so of that super soil compost. And that's what we've always done. And so when you plant, you kind of like let all the super soil fall down in the hole. Ben is back in the room with his brothers. How do you keep animals out of the garden? Well, we have a fence and
put up signs says no animals.
Give them real stern talking to. Sit down. wag the finger. We have a fence, and that really helps. The other thing is that our garden sits like our house is on one side, and then we have on the other side where our boy animals are, and that kind of keeps a lot of critters, like that keeps deer and stuff from coming through. And I don't know, we really don't deal with just a ton of critters that much because of that. We have dogs and stuff. And we have cats, and keeping them out of the garden is a little difficult. Now we have an electric fence to put around the back garden if that becomes like needed.
We don't have any coyote issues. They are around for sure, but they never really come up and mess around.
There where you turn past Amy's, I was driving home the other day past that one big farm on the right where the house sits back and they have all the kids' toys and stuff, but then they have the big field with cows and some horses and stuff. They had 2 dead coyotes like strung up by their feet on that fence. I was like, my God, I feel like I'm in the Wild West. Like, it was really intense. And they've been there for like weeks.
That's what they do out here.
Yeah. We live in the country. We're not like originally country, so sometimes I'm still surprised.
Hold on, North Star Preps there. Fencing is by Gallagher. Stark Brothers provides all the bushes and berries and asparagus, potato slips, things like that.
Who is your biggest Homestead influence? That's a good question. We really read a lot of Joel Salatin and are really trying to learn from his like regenerative farming method. So I guess that kind of that's really been influencing us as of late, but we didn't really get into Joel at first. I didn't know all the stuff he taught. I'm trying to think. We've kind of just like picked and gleaned from a lot of people.
I would say there's really not one particular.
I mean, there's Amy. She saw that. That sounds like deliverance. I know. I drove by and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, golly, that's really intense.
Farmer to be. Yes, I have wrapped my head around how big the high tunnel is going to be because the corner posts are up and one of the sidewalls is up. And I'm like, this is ridiculously big.
I think it won't feel that big once it's all closed in.
I think it'll probably still feel that big.
Congratulations, S. Cole, on your chicks.
Ducks, I don't think will keep chickens safe. Geese can.
Geese aren't really protectors. They're more like an alarm system. And they'll scare things off just because a lot of things will run just when they're like alerted. But yeah, geese might. We're getting geese. We're pretty excited.
And guineas.
And some guineas. We're actually getting a lot of guineas. Okay, so I know you guys added quite a bit of growing area, but are you going to experiment with any new crops, or are you just going to stick to your old and trusted performers? I think I probably need to cover this in a video to talk about it in depth. But I'm doing new things this year. I've never grown potatoes to this scale. Like, I'm growing a lot of potatoes. I'm growing a lot of sweet potatoes. I'm growing Jerusalem artichokes. I'm going to get that started here soon. So there's a lot of new stuff. My focus mostly this year is production, which means I'm still doing quite a few varieties of heirloom tomatoes, but I'm also doing like an entire row of just like producing. I think it's actually a hybrid, but it's been very highly recommended. I think it may be the one that Living Traditions grows. I can't remember. It's called Jet Star. But it's supposed to be so I'm doing like a whole row of that, which I've never done that before. That's like new to me. So I'm doing different things. I'm really focusing on production this year more than before. So I'm not doing a lot. Like, I'm still growing things that I think are pretty. I mean, that's part of the reason why we have as much space as we do, is to be able to grow things, but I'm not growing quite as many things just because I like the look of them. I'm going more for the stuff I know will produce.
Are you growing Jerusalem artichokes from seed or root?
Roots, Lily B. Actually, I did a video kind of mentioning it a few days ago, and a couple who I met while we were at HOA messaged me on Facebook and said that they would send some roots down my way. And so I I'm going to build a raised bed, which I'll do a video about that. I'm going to build like a little 4x8 foot raised bed back kind of nearest to the greenhouse, like this week, depending on the weather, probably the beginning of this week. And we're going to get that filled with soil. And when those come, I'm going to plant them. I want to plant them in a raised bed so they're contained. They're very invasive.
Why do you not still use solo cups for seedlings? By the way, I love watching your channel. Anonymous is cool. That's
a great question. Actually have been working on something that I've been writing about gardening that I'm not able to talk about yet. But I was just writing about this before I came up here for this live. I was just writing about this topic. I still like using, repurposing used solo cups for seedlings. The reason I don't is because when you're starting 1,000 plants, it's a lot easier to maneuver trays around that have multiple cups in there. And so I use trays that have holders that hold all the cups in place, because moving around that many plants. Now it's fine even whenever I was just doing like 100, it was fine. But whenever you're planting 1,000 plants plus, like, it's a lot easier to maneuver trays. Thank you, Mary Davidson, for that super chat. We appreciate that so much. Can you share some of your favorite meals you make from the produce you grow? I'm totally planning this year on kind of showing what I'm cooking as I'm doing it. Not necessarily doing how-tos, but linking to recipes, because there are a lot of great blogs and stuff that I get recipes from. And I figured that would be a really great way to kind of show you guys what I'm doing, and also doing doing some of my own cooking videos. We are currently weighing out. I swear we just live in over our heads, but okay. I've made comments about this many times before, so I'm going to kind of like side trail and tell you guys about this. Our house was a foreclosure. That's why we got such a really great deal on it 6 years ago. We actually bought our house 6 years ago last week. And it was in very rough shape. And we came in and did like a quick pick me up on the house. Like, we painted the cabinets and we put in a new backsplash and stuff like that.
That came later.
But for the most part, the house was in really rough shape, and we focused on outside. We have not really remodeled much of anything in our house. We replaced the floor and painted.
We did some stuff.
I mean, just here and there, we've done little things.
But the carpet's been original.
It's just, our house is just old. Rough. It's not super old, but it's just a lot of original.
Like, if you guys ever came to visit, we'd have to tell you to pee outside because our bathrooms are just old.
We wouldn't tell you that, but our bathrooms are really
they're dated.
Wallpaper
85.
And stuff. Yeah, it's original 85.
The year you were born.
Yes.
That's how old and original it is.
So,
does that mean that you're old and original? No, baby, you'll never be old and original.
I'm original.
I mean, you're original. You're not old. You get what I'm saying.
So we have put off redoing our kitchen because we work outside. We've just chosen any time that we have resources to put them outside. And because of that, we're missing multiple cabinet doors, and I don't really like we have fluorescent lights in here, and just my kitchen is one of my least favorite places in the house, which I spend the most time in. But our appliances, they're tired. They're very tired. Thank you, All Things Living. And we literally, our dishwasher is held together by this wire.
I've had to take it apart a few times.
It's been taken apart regularly and fixed. He's repaired it. Our refrigerator, we've torn the regulator off inside of it to keep it cold enough.
Well, none of the stuff is really nice stuff. It was
all
rental property.
Stuff anyway.
Rental property level stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. Our fridge is that basic black, essentially the freezer regulates the fridge with a styrofoam insert and a little knob that adjusts the vent size, right? So super not effective. But anyways, it kept freezing. And so I was like, well, we could go buy a new fridge. And she's like, well, we could not. And so I literally just ripped the styrofoam regulator part out. So it just blows cold air in. So the fridge is super cold.
So our oven, which we've already repaired twice, just broke. So we don't have an oven right now. And we're kind of our backs to the wall. And we're this is getting ridiculous. We need to just bite the bullet, replace our appliances. But the reason why we haven't is because like we have these old cabinets and he's like, they were, anyway, we'd have to tear out some cabinets and cut into our counters to replace the appliances with actually nice appliances. So we haven't. And we're kind of right now at the back to the wall being like, okay, I think it's time.
It's not so much the, also someone's saying, well, why if it works? It's not so much that it works. It does work. The bottom 2 drawers fell apart. So we have like baskets. That part that's holding the shelf fell apart. The stuff on the doors, those little rails on the doors, the bottom was gone. I don't even know what happened to it. The top one has sheetrock screws on the side and like about, I don't know, a quarter or a half-inch thick of electrical tape around the middle because it broke in half. It's been Frankenstein for like 5 years. So it's like, it doesn't really regulate temperature good. You can't put like produce in it because it doesn't know how to regulate humidity at all. So everything just kind of like goes bad fast. There's a lot of reasons. I could go on and talk about how bad the fridge is, but we've made it work for a while.
We've made it work, but some North Star Prep Setter, I think, said one new thing in the kitchen will snowball the remodel. That's why we haven't replaced anything, because it's been like, no, if we do this one thing, then we have to do this and we have to do this. I think that we might end up actually remodeling our kitchen here pretty soon, which will do all the work and make it really cool.
See, like we've done our due diligence. Like we've put up with crappy appliances for a really long time. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Really
like
long. 6 years is not very long.
This is all coming from the person who doesn't have to take the stuff apart. He doesn't have to replace the heating element. Yeah, but when it goes bad, rip out the regulator in the fridge.
Life on Beagle Road said I should send Kenny down for bathroom remodels. I mean, you only get 50% of the baseboards done, but everything else will be amazing.
Son of the baseboards.
That's the best.
Sounds like her dad.
Yeah, can you show how you store your food? Yeah, I mean, like
not right now.
I mean, like I'll show you guys. Like one of the videos on my list is kind of talk about like food storage and how to put things up and kind of like what to have, like what tools kind of make that easier. But yeah, I can show that. Part of the kitchen remodel is redoing the pantry because it's not very functional. The tattoo says Wilder still.
I'm sorry, question. Is it true that donkeys will keep coyotes away? Donkeys will jack a coyote up. Like there used to be cows next in the field before that property got sold, and they had some donkeys with the cows. And I was on the back porch. I was on the back porch, and you'd hear the coyotes sound like a pack of hyenas. Literally, they're all yipping and laughing, and you could tell the cows are getting agitated. And then out of nowhere, like it almost gets quiet. Like the yipping kind of stops and the cows stop moving, and all of a sudden you hear, "Hee-haw!" Bam! So like a dog got hit by a truck, and then all the coyotes ran off. I was like, we used to sit back and
listen to that. I mean, they don't come up on our property because we're here and our dogs are here. But have you ever grown microgreens? Yes, I have got microgreens growing right now. I don't have any great tips because I'm not super great at it. I'm mostly just forgetful. I need to put them. They do great when they're on my kitchen counter. If I do them downstairs, I end up forgetting about them. Do you like lemons or limes more? Well, that probably depends on what the application is. I would say I probably use way more lemons, but
true.
Limes with fish tacos are where it's at. Thank you, Holy Hummer. Appreciate that. Have you thought about selling your seed starts on a roadside into your driveway stand instead of the shindig so you don't lose too much income? Bonnie, I ended up taking a lot of them because when we decided to cancel the shindig, I had not separated everything yet. And I had a whole bunch of starts in those smaller containers that needed to be separated into individual cups, and I actually gave those to a friend of mine so that she could separate them. So I didn't have as much money in them as I didn't have as much in them as I would have had I continued to work on it. And then with us doubling our space, we're actually using twice as many seedlings. So I have given some of them away to people who just came and picked them up at the end of the driveway. And I might end up with some extras, but I'm gonna plant everything first and see. I might end up just giving the rest of them away. I've not made lemon extract, but I would like to.
Is it possible for beefsteak tomatoes to be determinate?
Beefsteak, yeah. Beefsteak started as like an actual variety. You could get a beefsteak tomato, like you could get like a Dr. Ritchie's or Brandywine or whatever. But then it sort of like morphed into how like if you come to the South and somebody says, hey, do you want a Coke? They don't mean Coca-Cola. They mean a soda. Like, that's what they're saying. It's a Coke. Like, it's just any variety of soda. They are going to get called a Coke. But that comes from Coca-Cola, which is an actual type of soda. That's like that with beefsteak tomatoes. So when people say, there are determinate varieties, which are slicers, which are often called beefsteaks. Actual beefsteak tomatoes, like the original beefsteak tomato, is an indeterminate tomato. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Oh, we actually didn't work outside all day today.
It's been kind of storming, weathery, drizzling, and raining really hard. And
we put them in the ground in a week. Anne, are you on Facebook? I would send. It kind of depends on the plants. I need to see them. If you could post them on the Facebook group, I think that would be really good. Goat playground. It's there. It's on the list. Which Mabel, we finally isolated Mabel. She's so mad about it, but she looks really close.
We're going to sell her extra food. We're going to give some away. We know that. We've talked about doing a CSA maybe.
Well, we have a handful of people, like our close family members, that we're going to be making sure have fresh food. And then we have a friend that is connected with, she's very in the local food movement, and she does home farming, Whispering Willow Farm, Jill and Nate, our friends. And our plan was to essentially let them kind of broker it, give it to them and allow them to keep part of the income for selling it to the people that they sell theirs to, kind of like subcontract or whatever. But a lot of those restaurants are not open, and I don't know what the plan's going to be. So what we're talking about doing, and this is not going to be for sure, we're just playing around with the idea, and I don't know what the logistics are of this, so I'm going to have to kind of look into the legalities and the insurance and all that stuff. But what I think I'd like to do is kind of do just a week by week CSA where I can put together baskets with a dozen eggs and tomatoes and some squash and whatever, and have pictures of it and say, I have 8 of these, to the first local people, and probably just use something like Facebook to do it. But I don't know yet if that's what I'm going to do. And just if we need to do no contact pickup, still being able to do no contact pickup or something like that. Are you going to film the goat labor? If it happens during the day, I will. If it's too dark, I won't. But I'll film it if it's during the day. Absolutely.
Are we going to get honey this year? Yes, we will get honey this year.
Yes, I do know homegrown tomatoes. I get sent that occasionally. Are your goats with no ears prone to ear infections?
Nope.
The only goat we've ever had that had an ear infection was one of our Nubians, actually. Miriam had an ear infection.
Well, there's a pretty good chance you're going to be here for this birth. You're not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere, so. Yeah, I missed all the births last year. Every birth on my farm last year, I did not witness a single one.
Yeah, I know.
Because I was gone.
Yes, I understand. I was there.
What?
At the goat births.
Oh, yeah.
While you were not.
Yeah, that's
there.
True that.
So.
The toasted rabbit. How are you? Do you reseed edamame or have experience growing edamame? I have grown edamame. I've only grown it on a small scale. I've grown a handful of plants a couple of times. I didn't mean it was good.
Do you deworm your goats?
Yes. Because
they came to us dependent. And so it's really hard to transition.
Yeah, we use chemical dewormers. So our goat herd was all dependent. Now our younger ones, like Ruth, the ones that were born here are not so chemically dependent. And we do things more naturally with the ones that were born here, but the ones that came to us, they are dependent on it. And we're afraid that trying to wean them off of that would kill them. So we don't. Life on Beacon Road. Y'all are expanding your garden pretty good, aren't you?
Yeah, I wonder if she knows someone else that might be expanding their garden pretty significantly this year.
Who? Oh, you're talking about me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Little Garden, Big Dreams. We actually are planning on doing like a cart for extra produce for our neighbors. And I'm just going to see how it goes as far as like that being taken. And, you know, as long as it's being taken and used, then we'll continue to put stuff out there.
Just starting a garden. How do you keep rabbits away? Fencing.
Yeah, fencing is a big deal. I'm so anxious to see baby goats. I pray you happen to bring the camera. I will do my best to get that as long as she doesn't have them in the night. And hopefully she doesn't have them. You know, our barn where our goats give birth, where we isolate the moms, is right outside our bedroom window. So typically we'll hear it if it's in the night. I've never had one kid in like the middle of the night. I've had babies early in the morning, but usually I hear them and I can get out there because if they're being loud, I can get out there to them. I've never grown stevia from seed, Jason. I've only grown it from starts. How do I decide if raised beds are better for me or if no-till is better? Michaela, I would say that probably is going to come down more than anything to the no-till. You can put that on a lot of different grounds. I mean, we're working on doing the no-till garden back there, building up on top of the ground still, but not like raised beds to try to build soil because we have such poor soil. So you can do no-till and build soil health over the period of a few years. If you're wanting to have like a successful garden right away, raised beds are going to give you probably easier and better success faster, but no-till garden will give you success over time, and no-till garden is significantly cheaper. I would say those are the things. No-till is way less labor intensive than building and filling raised
Only
beds.
if you can get access to free wood chips.
Yeah, I mean, and if you can't, then you're going to have to load, I mean, there are some factors that go in with that. Do you have any advice for winter farming, sugar grits and co? It depends on where you are.
We don't really have a winter.
I mean, we have a little winter, but not like a real winter. So
tell that to the North Star Prep Center. They're like, you ain't got no winter. You have a long summer.
You have a slightly less summery summer.
Winter for us is like, oh, it got down to 29, but it'll be 60 today.
Yeah.
I think she likes the chicken coop just fine. Last time I heard.
Oh, Carla?
Yeah, someone's asking how our friend liked it.
Oh, yeah, she's loving her chicken.
I liked it.
She's loving her chickens.
Winter, boy, it snowed last night.
Morgan. Oh, man. Morgan lives up there in Narnia.
New chickens are doing well. We've only lost very few, like maybe 4 out of all of them. That's including the bantams that came with the meat birds.
Oh, you're talking about our chicks. For a second, I was thinking about you were talking about our factory hens. I was
how
like, 4 have died.
No, how are the new chicken? Oh, maybe they're talking about new chickens. I was talking about chicks. They're all chickens.
Yeah.
The chicks are good.
The
chickens are good. Everyone's good.
Yeah.
We're getting about 10 to 13 eggs a day.
Yeah.
So everyone's doing their job. Chicks are growing, staying alive. Stay alive.
Baby moon birth photography. How cool. Another birth photographer. Will fungus gnats go away once they get put outside? That's been my experience. I've never had an issue with them once they're outside.
We do not deworm the chickens.
No,
not really.
Don't. I think we did once when we were like really struggling with keeping our flock healthy, but we haven't done it since then. That was our old flock. I have no experience with hydroponics, no.
But Ben Vincent at VW Family Farm does.
Oh, have experience with that. Thank you, Nebraska Dave. We appreciate that. Oh, I thought we were still in the question about deworming the chickens. I'm like, have y'all discussed him deworming
Come on, you gotta keep moving.
It was a warmer day, 45 degrees Fahrenheit. No. Don't like that.
Amanda McGill, I do not have any plans for anything. I kind of just birth it out of my mind as I'm doing it. One day when I'm less busy than I am now, I think it'd be fun to put some of my ideas and designs on paper and get them out there. But I could not justify doing that and not doing like the greenhouse and the remodel of the kitchen and the different things that we honestly, the long list of stuff that never seems to stop growing. Yeah.
Dream animal if money, space, and time was no issue.
Dream animal if money, space, and time was no issue.
He would have a huge herd of cattle and horses.
And tigers. I'm kidding. I've never seen that show. I really haven't.
I wonder how many people have tried to buy a tiger.
I guarantee you it's brought a lot of attention. But yeah, cattle and horses, I think I would spend my literally I want the kind of ranch one day that it's like, hey baby, I'll see you next week. And I go out into the acreage for a week rounding up cattle and driving in with horses. I'm serious. Like one of the first movies.
Montana or something,
I don't care where we got to go. One of my first movies I can remember watching with my dad was City Slickers, and I've always wanted to do that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I pretty much have all of the animals that I really wanted. I'd like for Sweet Miah to have the animals that he wants because we don't have our horses anymore. I'd like to get back on horses. I miss them often, but it was a smart thing to do. I would like to have them when we actually have our own property to keep them on. And then I'd really like a Jersey cow. That's something, or, a couple of Jersey cows. That's something that I would really like to have, but we won't have that here.
Yeah, I think if it was, I'd probably rather own a dude ranch. I want the responsibility. Honestly, I want to have a big cattle operation and do it the right way and get away from commercial cattle farming. Do it better.
And
have chaps and stirrups and a 6-shooter. Shoot cans off the fence. These are all things I'm going to do in my retirement. So if you guys are ever wondering, after we're done raising kids and we're done doing YouTube, I'll be on a big ranch somewhere raising cows and horses, practicing my quick draw 6-shooter, shooting cans off of a fence. Just saying. I'm
glad you have a plan. Thank you, Joy, so much. Let me see it.
Oh, Matt Phillips, very inspiring for an urban gardener who wishes they had a farm of their own. Thank you, Matt. That's awesome.
Wow. Oh, that just showed up where I could see it. Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate that. What's your favorite recipe to make with ingredients from your garden? I don't know that I really have a favorite. I do have one recipe. I was actually thinking about it this morning. So I wake up early. And on mornings like this, I didn't get out of bed. I was just laying in bed. And I had this cookbook next to my bed that my friend, April, sent me. And it's called Tender by Nigel Slater, I think is the name. He's a gardener in the UK and he's a beautiful writer. I mean, his stuff is so inspiring. And I woke up and I started reading Jeremiah all these eggplant recipes, and he was just like, this is a weird way to wake up. I'm just laying there reading this cookbook and I started reading all these eggplant recipes. But I was thinking about this recipe this morning that I do with eggplants and squash and onions and tomatoes, and it's all layered in and it's baked until it's all charred and spots on top. Oh, thank you, Matt. I appreciate that so much. Have you ever grown radicchio? Cascade Homestead? Yeah, I have. Not a lot. Not enough to have I grew it through the winter. It likes the cooler weather. Tips to find God again. It's probably a hard question to answer on a short term, but I think journaling is a really, really, really great way to get into prayer. I think that whenever we pray, because scripture tells us when we draw into God that he draws near to us. And so when we draw near to him, we end up finding him because he ends up drawing near to us. And what we can do, just imagine how much more he can do. And so when we draw near, he really draws near. And for me, journaling my prayers, I just write as if I'm writing a letter and very honestly write my prayers to God. That is a very, very, very powerful tool as far as building that relationship in prayer. Hey, Single Dad Homesteading, what is up?
Godfreak 71. So the cow panel arches, can they be held with just 2 T-posts? That's what we do. Other people have done it other ways. That's their preference. But I basically just put one on each end, zip tie it to you could tie it. You don't have to zip tie it. But anyways, you can do it with just 2. That's what we do. Other people use 4 and do it on the corners or whatever.
Edible Endeavors. I'm glad you like it. It's a really great cookbook. Have you ever tried sourdough pancakes? No, I need to like get a sourdough starter again and name it and make a commitment because I just end up forgetting them and neglecting them. I would really like to get into like really faithfully doing sourdough.
Miah, are you a construction professional? I don't think I've ever called myself a professional.
He did do some like finish work in cabinetry professionally when he was in the military, but
I'm pretty good at stuff.
Oh, Lonnie, I love that.
I'm pretty good at just pretty much anything I try to do.
And so humble too.
Very.
He is actually really good at the stuff that he builds, so he can say that.
Humble, confident, call it what you want. If it's making you feel uneasy, maybe you need to check yourself.
Thank you, Matthew Bigham. What's the best way to grow okra? Katarina, I'm not sure where you are. Okra likes warm weather, so you can direct sow it if it's warm enough. Otherwise, start it inside, but it just likes hot weather, and it's very tolerant of very negligent conditions, so it can handle pretty poor soil. Oh, I'm so glad, Rachel.
So, how does a sourdough starter work?
Well, you have to like feed it, and you have to like take some out and put some fresh in. It's kind of how like with
Okay, so this actually makes this naming very epic. Someone said I named my sourdough starter Seymour.
Feed me, Seymour.
Feed me, Seymour. That was good. We'll have to think of something clever like that.
That is really nice, the toasted rabbit. A lot of people have been posting photos of their bread baking. I stopped baking bread because we were just eating it all the time because fresh bread is so hard to resist. I need to start again because I've been buying store bread. I don't know that's not better, but we don't eat it whenever we do that. What vegetable grows well in shady, wet soil? I don't know how to answer that question exactly. It depends on how shady. If it's super shady, I don't know a whole lot that's going to grow there. I would say cucumbers like it really wet, and they can handle a little afternoon shade, but they still need 6 hours of sun a day to grow. So I don't know.
Listen, there are 3 things besides plants. We do kill some plants, but we're getting better at that. But there are 3 things that almost unanimously come here to die. Sourdough starters, kombucha scobies, and kefir grains. I actually think we have some 6-year-old kefir grains in the back of that fridge that I just haven't had to like pull out and be like, you left these in here a little
while, and then it'll be like, meh. I'll forget about it.
Because honestly, I think if we leave the kefir grains in there much longer, like they're gonna grow like a conscience, and then we'll be able to discuss it with them.
They'll last long. They're fun.
Okay, well, you drink that kefir because I think
I'm not drinking that kefir, but the grains are fine in that kefir. Oh, that's interesting. My friend found hornworms on their carrots. I didn't know that was the thing either. Don your bee gear to raid the fridge.
That's not enough protection. I need like my full like Marine Corps issued gas mask, mustard gas suit. Get in there.
There are some experiments in my fridge. But the thing is that like the fridge gets cleaned out, but Jeremiah doesn't know on the things because he's thrown things away before. And I'm like, why'd you throw that away?
Listen, in my fridge, if it looks freaking nasty, like it's literally about to start talking to you, just leave it. It's probably there for a reason. She's probably mixing into your food and you don't even know it. I've probably been eating some kind of like rotten bacteria. It's probiotic. That's like what you showed me, the guy that invented oatmeal. It's like,
no, that was a joke. That wasn't something that was serious.
That might be the guy that invented oatmeal.
Don't encourage.
Listen, her plan is flawless, guys. And I know she's not alone. You guys do the same thing. It's like work really hard, get really tired, then come inside. You're not going to question what you're eating. You're just going to eat what's put in front of you. And that's when she mixes in all the blah. All this whatever it is. I don't even know what we're calling it these days. Anyways, so I just
your gut is thankful for the things that I make for you.
It is.
Yeah, that, Jennifer. They just go in there. They start throwing stuff away, and they're like, well, that looked weird. I'm like, just because you didn't know what it was doesn't mean it didn't have value.
Yeah, I drew the line, though, because she's like, I know it. I just know it. But, like, you're mixing up that yogurt. You're putting your little chia seeds in it. I'm like, I'm going to be throwing that away in, like, 3 months. 3 months later, when those chia seeds had like exploded and started to sprout chia grass inside the fridge.
I've made overnight chia pudding, which I've made and eaten many times, and I forgot 2 jars in the fridge, and it got a little weird. I don't like cleaning out weird stuff. It makes me feel yucky.
It makes me feel yucky. Oh yeah, she's not cleaning it out. There is a wet jar sitting on the back fridge that had mayonnaise, I think, like homemade mayonnaise from like 2 years ago. And I'm just like, I look at it, I'm like, that's going to be so nasty.
It's not mayonnaise. That's not what's up there.
It's not what's up there now.
No.
Like, it's been 2 years, and the heat, the cold, the heat, the cold, the heat, the cold, the heat, the cold. We'll clean it out eventually because those wet jars are good. Like, we'll sterilize it. I'm just saying, like, we're both ignoring it as if it's not there.
Julie Skeldum, this is your new fridge fun. As much as you're in your kitchen, you deserve. I have a safe one that isn't falling apart. Thank you so much. That is so sweet. Have you direct sown tomatoes? I'm not intentionally direct sown tomatoes, but we have volunteers that come up every year and they grow and produce fruit. Because sometimes if a volunteer comes up out of the garden, I just leave it.
Evidence. Harvesting the bounty from the mayo video. Yes, remember, we can go back and reference the video. You made it in a wet jar. It's now sitting on the back fridge.
Is it really?
It is.
That's gross.
Maybe you're not tall enough to notice it. But I notice it, and I'm like, I don't have the gumption yet to go open it up and figure out what it smells like and clean it out, so I'm just letting it sit.
I've also made mayo multiple times since that video.
I think it's probably the same, but it's okay. I'm not judging you.
My husband gets fridge cleaning on duty because I can't tolerate those smells. Okay,
we learned in our marriage
discrepancy.
Very early. Okay, so
I can smell things.
We have kids. We have animals. Things happen. Things uncontrollable, guts, whatever. Okay, so one time I was like, why do I always have to be the one to do this? And she's like, fine, I'll do it. I got it. It was a puppy. It was a dog. And she's like, I got it. Okay. I said, I would take care of this dog. I promise you I got it. So she goes in there and she goes, I don't know. I think I got it.
I have a really weak stomach.
Okay, so then
don't go into detail. Someone might be eating. So he had to clean up.
She threw up a mess. And then I had to clean up both messes. And I literally came out and was like, don't ever help me again. I don't care how nasty it is. I will take care of it from now on. It's definitely not worth it. Like, if our kids start throwing up, she just runs away. Literally, it's like a bomb's about to fall. She's like, fire in the hole! And I'm like, get away, get away! I'm like, get down! Because I don't want her to have to. I'll clean up twice. I'll clean up whatever the mess is plus her mess. But anyways, I don't mind. It's kind of gross, but it is what it is.
Here's another thing we learned. I can smell things that Jeremiah cannot smell.
That is absolutely true.
And I'm like one of those like really, really, really sensitive palates where I can like drink a coffee and pick up the 5 notes that are listed on the bag. Like, I seriously have a really sensitive sense of smell, which probably goes with that really weak stomach. He can't smell anything. Like, there are times I come in and I'm like, oh God, I'm like, something's wrong. Something is bad in here. Like, what is that? And he's like,
no, the first thing I do, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
So truly.
Oh, she'll come and be like, the house is disgusting. You need to clean it. And I'm like, seems fine to me.
Yeah, I can smell anything, and that's probably why. Hey Blondie, I have the nose of a bloodhound too. Like, she'll
be laying down in bed. I'll come in and I'll like go to kiss her on the mouth. She's like, "You've been eating Triscuits and garlic cream cheese dip? Is that Jello?"
You're busting me out so bad on this live video. Oh, Lord help us.
And seeing Jessica say that she stinks, she'll be like, oh, I stink, I need to take a shower. I'm like, I doubt you stink. And 90% of the time, I can't smell anything.
That doesn't mean I don't stink.
That's true.
I
I've
can't smell.
established that.
He
Sometimes
can't
I can't smell.
anything.
But then there's a few times when I can't smell. And if I can smell it, it's got to be really bad. Like, if it gets through this nose, she needed to shower quick. I was like, yeah, you probably should go. I love making you laugh.
Oh, man.
I would get my mom laughing so hard that she would literally pee herself. Not exaggerating. I wouldn't do it very often, but sometimes she would just be like egging me on. I'd probably be like, I just get her laughing, and then she would literally have an accident.
My husband has no sense of smell, so I have to smell everything for him. Karina, I'm like that. Like, I open food, and I'm like, does this smell bad? Like, because I have such a crazy sense of smell on everything. Like, I can smell when my car, like, is almost at the end of its oil change. Like, I can just smell it. Like, there are things that I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is bad. And Jeremiah, for a long time, we would argue and be like, no, it's not. And then we finally were like, oh, this is a perception issue. My perception is my reality and yours is your reality. And we're just going to have to learn to work together. That's so funny. You think that that's not a big issue, but being married to a person that can't smell anything when you can smell everything, I mean, it brings up some conflict. There are times that I'm like there have been times that I'm like, this needs to be handled right now. Like, this trash needs to be taken out right now or whatever. That's the first example.
Baby Moon birth photography. We just found we have a mutual friend, Jessica Thrash.
No way! That's crazy.
I love it. Honestly, this is not the first time we've had a small world experience with Jessica Thrash.
Actually, we have another friend that made the table. We have that mosaic glass table.
Oh, yeah.
We have a friend that made the table. She made
Becky Carter.
Rachel
Carter. Sorry.
Yeah. She's
Buckeye something.
Yeah, our Buckeye.
I'm trying to remember. See, it's confusing because I know her from being in person, but then she has a Facebook page, which is something else. Anyway, she's on Friends from Refuge. She talks about the mosaic tables. So
she was neighbors with our friend Jessica Thrash's mom. Jessica Thrash lived in California, moved to Arkansas, was stationed here. Y'all have seen her in my vlog before. Yeah, like she's one of my very close friends. It's a problem. He burns something. He can't smell it getting hot. I can. Yes, that is one thing that now I want coffee to see if I can smell all the notes. You got to get good coffee to be able to do that. Like if you get somebody who has if you can get like some good locally roasted coffee.
You know what kind of coffee I want?
What?
I keep talking about it. I want some of that coffee for the stylers.
Oh yeah, I messaged and got the link the other day to see if I could get you some.
Because it's like they're like making this coffee in like the bourbon barrels in Kentucky, really good. And I'm like, it sounds good.
Do you use companion plants to ward off bad bugs? Can you mix essential oils with neem oil? I think a diversely planted garden is really beneficial because you're creating a really positive ecosystem for beneficial insects. But I think companion planting, there are a lot of things that get stated in a very factual way that may be opinion. But I do companion plant. I mean, I do a lot of things like marigolds and nasturtiums and all that. With neem oil, yeah, I've mixed essential oils into neem oil. But I only put neem oil in the evening because I don't want to hurt the bees.
We will have our own coffee shop and roasting company.
That's like a dream of mine. I actually already have the name for it. I've already bought the domain, but we're just sitting on it for now. It's not time yet.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you the name yet.
No, it'll be way too early.
Way too early.
Way too early.
Do bell peppers need to be tied up? Most peppers, it depends. Sometimes peppers will go really strong and they don't need any additional support. Sometimes they do, and all you have to do is like put a stake in and just tie them to that. They might need a little bit of strength. Ever deal with spider mites? Yeah, a little bit. Not just a ton though. Like they've never been like a bane. Just a little bit. I can't garden without coffee now, thanks to Jess. My coffee in my garden, the other morning, it was warm enough. And by warm enough, like I am really cold natured. I don't like going outside when it's very cold at all. And so if it's going to be like less than probably 50, like I probably won't go out early in the morning. But the other morning it was like 55 and I went out and had my coffee walking around the garden. It was
favorite oils for the garden depends on the season. I'll tell you right now, I'm really looking forward to the blended Terra Shield.
Oh, for keeping bugs off. Yeah.
Other than that, what do you do in the garden? Like,
there are a few different ones that I use. I need to do a video about
do you
that.
do
Would
them
probably
for, like, helping
be
plant?
the best things. For like pest control mainly, and then also you can use things to bring in pollinators. If you have pollinator issues, you can use things like lavender and lemongrass to bring pollinators to your garden. Yeah.
How many sugar baby watermelons transplants do I put in one pot? How big is the pot?
Yeah, it really depends on how big the pot is. Probably just one, I would think, unless it's a really massive pot.
Favorite method for repelling mosquitoes? Force field. Then when they hit it, they just die. It's like, we'll be talking about that on Pew 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 this Tuesday.
I use essential oils. That's what we use for mosquitoes. Is we use an essential oil mix called Terra Shield that doTERRA sells, and that's what I've used for years. And I just use it straight. Like it just comes in a bottle, and we just put it on, and you can buy a spray bottle. You can mix like a more diluted.
We actually do need to get more ladybugs.
Yeah, we do need to do.
We did ladybugs last year. It was great.
I was gonna wait till it was a little warmer and we had more.
Well, we're just making a mental note so we'll remember.
Yeah, we used lemongrass oil to catch our bee swarm the other day. Actually,
baby chicks are doing good.
Mosquito barrier. It's just highly concentrated garlic oil. I've not heard of.
Yes. Okay, that actually does work, but you will start smelling like garlic. So like
we used to feed our horses.
So like we used to feed our horses straight garlic, ground up garlic powder, like 2 scoops on their food, because rather than doing a chemical spray, they would just eat this garlic, and literally it would not just repel mosquitoes, it repelled horse flies, regular flies. Like their fly issues were 70% controlled by just eating granulated garlic.
Horses deal with that a lot.
Now, goats don't seem to have much issues.
We eat a ton of garlic, and I wonder if that helps with.
I don't really get much mosquito bites.
None of us really do. I mean, we keep essential oils on throughout the summer. Yeah, Chris, I did start my ground cherries inside. I did start my ground cherries inside, but I also have direct sown them, and I had a lot volunteer that worked out well too. Lindsay West, we have 2 coffee roasting places here locally. One is called Onyx. It's in Northwest Arkansas. They have a coffee blend called Southern Weather, and that's one of my favorites. And I think it's on Amazon. And then there's another called Blue Sail, and that's like when we're not shut down and staying at home. That's my favorite coffee place to go to and like sit in. I go there and work a lot whenever I have to do a lot of stuff on the computer just to get out of the house. Someone sent me 2 big bags, and I don't know if it was the roasting place because there was no note. It was literally just all this coffee from Alaska, from a place called Uncle Leroy's, and it is some of the best coffee I've ever had. Like, I'm on the 2nd bag now. I've so enjoyed it. It's been amazing. I was actually looking it up today to see if I was going to be able to order some more because it was so good. I'm in zone 7B. We have a P.O. box. It's listed on the about section of our channel, and I think it's listed in the notes of our video.
Jess, zone 7A, Arkansas here. Late start for lots of reasons. Is it too late to seed tomatoes?
Nope. Go ahead and do it. We have a really long growing season. You could direct seed them, or you could start them in your house. I love the smell of garlic so much. I love garlic.
Lauren, will you answer this question in a text message form? What essential oils do you use for mosquitoes?
What are you asking?
Because you don't just use.
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking Lauren to respond in a message so she can see it.
Have it written down. Yeah, geranium and.
She's saying, what essential oils to use for mosquitoes? I know you can use Terra Shield, but I thought you guys mixed other stuff with it in a carrier.
Yeah, I guess if Lauren wanted to write it out, that would be good. It's.
Geranium, I do not have the Star Wars Instant Pot. That would be cool though.
Yeah, I've seen that. We have an Instant Pot though.
We actually haven't sat down with the kids to figure out their planting.
I'm hardening everything off right now. Once it's all
the other thing is
that cold weather.
I did make one decision for them. We had some extra blackberries, and then so I've actually am building just a real easy, quick bed out in front of the fence that's out in the front. not the fence where the dogs are, but the front fence. And we're going to grow kids' blackberries all up and down that fence.
Yeah, we got some. A viewer actually sent us some thornless blackberries, so we're gonna put them there for the kids. How do you start pineapple tomatoes? Do you mean tomatoes or ground cherries? Tomatoes, I mean you would just start like any tomatoes, and ground cherries are the same. You pretty much start them like you would a tomato. They're very small seeds, so you don't need to put them in very deep, and they take a long time to germinate.
Cascade Homestead. Did you like Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker? Actually, we'll be discussing that. That is actually what we're going to be discussing on Tuesday.
On Pew Pew Pew.
On Pew Pew Pew. If Morgan's here, he can link it.
No, the link has been being shared. It's been shared a few times.
Okay.
But they're doing their live stream where they talk about that stuff.
That's actually the last one was actually really fun. It was a versus episode, and we basically argued different characters versus other characters. Like, it was really fun. This one, I think we're going to be talking about all 9 Star Wars movies and arguing different points. So Ethan said he's going to be brutal.
Christy, thank you for saying that my haircut shape is looking cute. So if anybody's ever had bangs or fringe, as those of you across the pond call it, but you know that there comes a point in having bangs where they get so long that they don't stay down anymore and they just split. And that happened yesterday. And so I won't have bangs until the quarantine is over and my salon is open again. So it is what it is. You know, the thing with bangs is once you get them, you got to stick with them or you're in that awkward stage. And I'm now in the awkward stage that, and I'm just in it because I'm not going to cut my own bangs because there are a lot of things in the world that I'm good at. Cutting hair is not one of them at all. Hey, Mark, what is up?
Let's see. Jeremiah, who's your favorite villain? Gotta be Darth Maul. I don't think so.
Hold on. In all movies ever?
My favorite villain. You guessing?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like villains, so there's that.
Dang. The pressure. It's so great.
It is great.
I don't know. I can't guess.
My favorite villain to date is probably Ultron.
Would have said that
because
I got nervous.
Honestly, they did it for me in that because of the actor they chose to play his voice. They got I think it was now I'm drawing a blank.
She said Star Wars only.
Oh, well.
This is like a serious question. This is like a long, thoughtful pause here. Snape. I was going to say, that's what I was saying. Mine would probably be somebody on Harry Potter would be my favorite.
He's not a villain. That's not it.
But okay.
No,
he's mean. He's not a villain, but he's mean.
Yeah, but he was also bullied by Harry's dad. He was a jerk. Like, I understand it was all tragic and stuff, but honestly, Harry's dad needed to be punched in the face. Not killed, but punched in the face.
Miah is not cutting my hair, Chris. That would not be at all.
Let's do that. Let's film it. I'll let you cut mine. I'll cut yours.
That would not be. I don't even want to cut yours.
And I'll dye it. With local products. Only what we have in the house.
Is that the local products? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm familiar with the Texas Hill Country, and
honestly, if I had to pick a favorite villain out of Star Wars, it would probably be Boba Fett. Darth Maul would have to come in second. I'm really not a bad guy kind of guy. Like, I'm not the guy that, like, when you're like choosing your character, it's like, oh, go to the dark side. Like, no, I'm always the good guy. Like the good has to win. So.
Yeah, I don't want a new fridge that bad to let Jeremiah cut my hair. Don't want it like. Actually, you know what? I'll just save up my own money and buy my own fridge to keep my own hair. I don't need a fundraiser. I don't want to
save up your own money. What are you talking about?
Yeah. What type of cukes are for gherkins? You can harvest anything pretty small, like pickling cucumbers really small, but there are some like Parisian pickling that are specifically for gherkins. Oh. Yes, Snow White Benson. That's how I see it too. Like, Snape wasn't actually a villain, obviously.
Right, and neither is Venom or Deadpool or any of the other anti-heroes.
So many of the like anti-heroes, like they're just really misunderstood, but that doesn't make them like
He wasn't necessarily, but he was a good guy. He sacrificed himself to bring Voldemort down and save Harry. That makes him a hero. Harry named his son after him. Nobody names it. Like, Obi-Wan Kenobi has a child, and he's like, I name you little Darth Maul Sidious, because, you know.
Loki is probably...
He's an anti-hero. Yeah, it's not the same thing.
It's not the same.
Villain.
It's like a genuine
villain. Ultron, villain. Thanos, villain. Loki is not really a villain. He's an anti-hero. So really, it's not the same thing. You got to understand.
See, I didn't have any feelings of like towards Professor Umbridge. I didn't even like hating her. She was just the worst.
Oh, yeah. I hated her. She really was the worst. Like, honestly, like, I thought she might have been Voldemort in the flesh again. Like, you know, he kept coming back. Like, I thought maybe she was Voldemort. I'm just saying, like, she was bad. Why isn't Loki a villain? Okay, villains never do the right thing. Does that make sense? Like, villains always do the evil thing. If a person who might have made some bad choices or been confused about motives and all that stuff, they're considered anti-heroes. So, like, Venom in the Spider-Man comics is an anti-hero. Like, he'll eat people, bad people, but he actually tries to, and he fights Spider-Man because of moral dilemma, bad choices, and he's like, you can't eat people even if they're bad. And he's like, well, I'll go eat people if I want to, kind of thing. But he's actually not, when it really comes down to like the actual villain showing up, Venom's actually fighting against the actual villain. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like Loki, anti-villain. Why? Because he fought against Thanos and then sacrificed himself to save Thor. This needs to be pew. I could go on about this forever. Anti-hero, not the same thing.
Do you like how this thing like rises up in Jeremiah? Like whenever something like this comes up, and all of a sudden he's like, here's all this intensity.
Right, so but saying Loki is a villain in the Avengers, but not in any other movies after, it's just saying the same as like Snape was a villain in all the other movies before the final.
With that reasoning, Darth Vader isn't a bad guy. He wasn't always making the bad choice.
No, Vader is actually not a villain. He was an anti-hero. He killed and did the right thing in the end. So it's not the same. They would not have presented his spirit restored in the end of the movie if he was still a villain. Does that make sense? Never mind. I'm done with you guys.
Oh.
I made it. I just finished potting up 200 tomatoes.
Oh my gosh.
I'm in love with my inspiration. Loki isn't a villain. He's just a chaotic villain.
Thank you, Greenwich Homestead, for that super chat. Gosh.
And that. Put a period on that statement.
Villain theology. Okay, so here's my thing. So I've done a lot of like reading and different things for counseling and just kind of like personal development as far as taking responsibility for choices and like why we do the things that we do. And like I really just like to understand people and the brokenness of people and, you know, inner healing and all of that. Like I've done a lot of reading about stuff like that. And to me, like when I see like the people he's talking about, like the anti-villains, where they show you the complexity of a character and you see like their brokenness and you feel compassion for them. I think that really kind of brings about like they're the bad guy, but I don't know, like it makes me think of Wreck-It Ralph and his little like bad guy support groups. Just because I'm a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy. I don't know.
That was Zombie from Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
So, I don't know. I just think that it's...
Good night, Tammy.
That it's interesting to think about. Like, it's interesting to me to think about, like the brokenness that leads people to... the brokenness that leads people into doing bad things. Because... Yeah, you know you're a parent when you reference a kid movie. Our life full of kid movie references and probably will be for the next 20-something years at least. But yeah, he actually already has a Spider-Man mask to Family Homestead. His sister sewed him a mask with Spider-Man fabric. But like to me, one of the things that I really, really love is if I am like reading a book and the writer can make me feel compassion for the bad guy, like I feel like that's such a more like real approach to how things actually are. Because when you make it totally black and white and the bad guy is just bad, like all bad, to me, that is like a little bit of a cop out. Now, it does not, just because you feel compassion for a person and you see their brokenness. I mean, this is like real life too. Like I have to like step into this and I have to qualify what I'm saying. If you're in a relationship with a person who is toxic, you don't have to continue to give that person access to you just because you see why they're toxic. You see their brokenness. You can have your own personal boundaries and have relationship with people without allowing them to use you in a toxic way. Like that is true. And to me, when a person who's writing can play on that and can like make me compassion for the bad guy, that's good writing to me.
Chris said, if you don't hit that thumbs up, you're a villain.
Jennifer Andrews, thank you so much for that. I hope you get your new fridge soon. Y'all are being so sweet. We're halfway there on these super chats.
Well, the other thing, for like in talking about like explaining like the human side of things or like the emotional side of things, even in the ultimate bad guy of the first group of Avenger movies, Thanos did a lot of bad stuff. But when you understand like what happened that pushed him to do that, like, seeing your planet consumed by growth and mismanagement and all that, like he was not really, because the thing is like, he didn't really torture people. Like, what I'm saying? He could have like with the Infinity Gauntlet, he could have done really bad things to people. He just caused them to not exist anymore. It was not painful.
Yeah.
Like he's still a bad guy, but he's not like evil.
Now that's like evil villain. Like the last scary movie that I watched was in 2004 when I went and watched Saw in the theater, and I spent the entire movie with a hat over my face and was like, I'm not doing this and I will not watch. And I seriously have not watched a horror movie since then. I can't do it. Like, so did you want to eat some dinner? Oh yeah, sure. I can't watch stuff like that. And so I'm not talking about like that level of bad guy. I'm talking about like in movies like Avengers and just the stuff that we watch. Like I just can't. That's a different level of yuckiness. Yeah, and those some of the references like I don't even get because I haven't seen a lot of the stuff that Jeremiah talks about.
I don't do horror movies at all.
Yeah, I don't watch that stuff.
I just no point. Don't care for it. I got enough things to be scared about.
Like what?
I mean, I don't know.
Like there are things
in real life stuff. Like I don't need to be scared about clowns.
Are your strawberries already blooming? Yes, we have lots of berries on our strawberries.
Yeah, I'm not into any kind of like real torture. I'll take it like a great medieval clash or like even like a 12 strong or a good like honestly, Hacksaw Ridge was very graphic, but a very good movie.
Yeah, I just like
stuff like that. Like that doesn't bother me. Honestly, it's just like man, people who can face adversity like that and keep going is inspiring. Really, even if it. I don't know. We had a conversation with our kids and my brother and sister, and we were like, if they actually made a Hollywood movie and just took the Bible as it's like written out, like the stuff that happened in the Bible, like it would not even be able to be rated on the rating system. There's some crazy stuff that happens in the Bible.
Yeah, Hacksaw Ridge. I only watched that once, and that was pretty. I mean, it was pretty hard to watch. It was a really good story. Hey, Bear.
Yeah, Princess Bride I've seen. I love it. Jessica's never seen it.
Are you needing to go outside? Do you need to go outside? No? Okay, he was just checking Michaela out.
What's a few? What's that in reference to? Did you just say something about a few?
I don't know.
Okay.
What spacing do you guys put on your crowd plan on trellises for pole beans, tomato squash, and cukes? Winter squash, I'll do winter squash, pretty much any plants aside from beans or peas, I put 2 at the bottom. So at the bottom of one side of the trellis, like the bottom of the rainbow, I'll put 2 plants. And then beans.
People are losing it that you haven't seen Princess Bride. Inconceivable. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but people are like, what?
I think I have.
Look, your own friend. Wait, what? Jessica said you've never seen Princess Bride? She has never seen The Princess Bride. I'm sorry. I didn't think that they would like jump on you. Like
I didn't
that.
even hear you say that.
People are asking it.
Oh,
Seen,
no,
I said I liked Princess Bride. I saw it when I was a kid, and I've seen it a lot
I think
since
I
then.
have seen Princess Bride whenever I was like young, but I don't remember. Like I
I
get the references though. That or
yeah, but you could have just seen memes. I think you've seen memes, and then you think you've seen the movie,
or I've heard people
because we've had conversations where you've never seen it.
Greenwich Homestead, with the garden close to the road, you worry about vandals if things get bad. Ask because my main garden is in a similar position. I'm getting uncomfortable. That's a good topic. I want to talk about this, and then we can we'll probably wrap this up because it's getting close to bedtime for my babies. It is what it is. It is where it is. This is our house. One of the reasons why we have talked about moving to a different property at some point in the future is for more privacy and for more security. But right now it is what it is. We have a fence across the front. I do plan on putting a stand out front and offering free vegetables, and I think that does go a little ways. It's well lit. I mean, like, we've taken the precautions. It is right by our house. Even though it's right by the road, it's not like our house is far off. So, I mean, if somebody were going to come into our well-lit garden right by our house, they could be seen from the window. I'm not super nervous about it. I'm really not. I'm aware that that could become an issue. But, I mean, just like at any point in time, somebody could come and try to steal things or hurt you. And so, you know, I just try not to live in fear about stuff like that. I do think that offering, I mean, for me, and this just might be very naive logic, but I feel like putting out free food may deter that, because at least where we live in an area where there's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of poverty directly around us. We live in rural. Hey, Luke. We live in a really rural area, and there is a lot of poverty. And so for us, I mean, just like offering something, I think a lot of times when people come down to stealing stuff like vegetables, they're doing that out of need. You know, we have things like tools all the time that I guess could get stolen. Our lights are flickering. That could get stolen. That would be more of a concern. But I mean, if people were going to come down to stealing vegetables, I think I would probably try to head that off by just giving them to them. So
Your friend Mark.
What do you say?
Let somebody grab my tomatoes. They'll draw back a nub.
Mark, we gotta get you a hoary tool out in your garden. You can handle business. Yeah, I think it would be a different. I don't worry about I don't really worry so much about vandalism as far as someone coming to just destroy it for the sake of destroying it. Oh, Game Nerd Mom, thank you for that super chat. Tell your son we say hello. I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to see. What vegetation grows in the shade? Hostas like shade. What were you laughing at?
Someone said a 30 or North Star Prep Center said a 36-inch hoary. That's like,
yeah. What is it? A claymore? Is that what that is?
36 inches is not a claymore. It would be longer than that.
What is that, like 40 something?
A real claymore? We're talking like Scottish Highlands claymore.
They're like
6 foot long.
6
probably.
feet? No, really?
I mean, like, have you ever seen Braveheart? He was. Oh, I put a ring on it. And you've never seen Braveheart? No, I'm kidding. I knew you hadn't seen Braveheart. Movies.
But do you want to know how to grow tomatoes?
She's like 36 inches. That's a claymore, right? I'm like, oh my gosh.
Chris, oh no, she did not just say that.
I mean, Mel Gibson is not really a short person, and that sword is huge. Oh man,
guys,
the city sword, freedom.
Oh, listen.
Then we gotta do some kind of like Braveheart parody on a vlog soon, where it's like, you can take our okra, but you'll never take our tomatoes.
I haven't seen a lot of movies.
See, Jessica's like our boundaries, right? So when we get too crazy into other stuff, she's like, gardening advice. And then we'll kind of hover in the gardening section, and then we'll come out and get crazy down a rabbit hole. She'll bring us back to the gardener. That's what we love you.
The questions keep coming. I'm just giving the people what they want.
Give the people what they want.
Chris said you fail if Braveheart isn't on the next date night.
We need to sync up and watch it together. I think I haven't watched that movie in like 15 years. It's probably
I have seen Braveheart.
It's probably been 10 years.
Really long
I'll be
time.
honest, Jessica couldn't sit through Braveheart.
I can't
She would be like, so what's going on exactly? Oh, he got chopped up. Oh, sucks. And just respond to blood. Nope. Can't do that.
Okay. I have a mechanism to cope with things. If it's too violent, I have to look on my phone and be distracted and look at nice things on Pinterest and read about gardening stuff because it stresses me out.
Well, we could do Princess
anxiety.
Bride. We could do Princess Bride, and we could do it like a Zoom, where we could literally break Zoom and have you guys all Zoom watch it with us, and let's see how many people we can get on Zoom to watch Princess Bride with Jessica.
Zoom I only have the subscription that allows me 100 people at a time.
I guarantee people will send us money to upgrade that to be able to watch Princess Bride with you for the first time.
Oh my gosh.
I can quote Monty Python and the Holy Grail from start to finish.
I've never seen that. Listen, okay, I was not allowed as a child to watch PG-13 movies until I was like at least 13. And then I could not watch rated R movies until I was a grown-up. Okay? I wasn't allowed. Whenever I was a child, I could not watch those movies.
Listen, as becoming a homesteader, I understand so many more jokes from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. So when the French people are in the English castle and they're like, your father was a hamster and your mother smelt of elderberries. I was like, before, I was like, what the crap is an elderberry? I was like, what the heck does that smell like? Now I know. So if she weighs the same as a duck, then she's a witch! Burn her!
Oh my gosh. Okay,
How do you know that's a king? He ain't got crap all over him. Bring out your dead. Bring out your dead.
See, my mom says she still can't watch those movies. She's like,
well, you can go
is that a rated R movie?
No.
No. Okay. I can watch Princess Bride as long as it's not scary. Like
it might be a little scary. There's a couple scary parts, but
but
Monty Python, I don't think you would find it that funny. Like there are parts you would find funny, like the Nights We Say Knee are pretty good. Huh? You must cut down the mightiest tree in the forest with a herring.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't allowed to watch.
You must bring us a shrubbery.
Yeah, I don't know. This is why he has a channel with his friends to talk about like nerdy things, because there are all these things that like I don't watch a lot of movies, so like I just don't know.
We could go down this rabbit hole for
he stopped taking me. I tried to hang, because there are things in our marriage that's like, I love you, and so I want to be. I fell asleep through the Hobbit movie and slept in the movie theater through the Hobbit movie, and after that he's like, you're staying home, darling. Because people stay awake.
I literally, when I was like 11, I went to my friend's house, and then we, as with their family, went to their friend's card night. So it was like all the kids hanging out, and I showed up there, and they're like playing cards, and they're like, oh, we're gonna watch a movie. I want to watch it. And my friends and all the kids were like, nah. And I was like, well, what are you watching? And they're like, we're going to watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And I was like, oh, I love that movie. I started quoting it, like literally just started off from the beginning and just went there. And they were just like, how the heck does this 11-year-old literally know this movie from start to finish? I mean, I was telling them jokes I didn't even understand. I just knew how to say it because I literally had seen that movie so much.
I do like the Hobbit movies. I'm just not good at watching movies. Like, I've actually seen the Hobbit movies and the Lord of the Rings movies. I really like those. I'm really not good at like movie theaters. Okay, guys, I have to have something that I'm like doing. Like I cross stitch while I watch movies, or like I've been like spinning fiber. I stay very busy. And so like sitting down and full focus on something like that, that's hard to do. Even if I like it.
We'll just bring it back. Let's go back to the gardening. Do you think 1 acre is large enough to grow food for our family? I noticed you have 4 acres.
We have 4, but almost everything that you saw on our farm from the beginning was on about 1.5 or 2. Like, yes, you can absolutely. My garden is only 1/4 of an acre, so you can totally grow food on an acre. Get her a fidget spinner.
If I had a chance, I would live at the Hobbiton in New Zealand for a month. I would. I want to go to New Zealand and visit all the areas that they shot Lord of the Rings in.
I watched all the Harry Potter movies when they came to the theater. I was a big fan through the process of all of that stuff being released, so I did go see those in the theater.
There are no discount codes for Baker Creek. Yeah, there's really not many discount codes for much of anything.
Squirrel. Somebody said the other day on Facebook, they commented that our garden looked very hoppity.
Yeah, it does. It does. I agree.
I love that.
Only thing we could do better is if we could like dig it into the side of a mountain.
The other day, and they're like, "How do you guys afford this?" We live in a really low cost of living area. Arkansas is not super expensive to live in to begin with. Comparative to like California and places up in the Northeast, and even like just Arkansas is just a lot cheaper. But we got our places of foreclosure, and we paid less than $100,000 for our land and our house. So like that's, we've done a ton of work. We had to spend a lot just to make the house livable. But it was really affordable. It was a HUD foreclosure. I don't know what that's like in different areas, but you can find these foreclosures that have been flipped and get really good deals. That's really cool. A Hobbit House Airbnb. There are some Airbnbs up in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah,
that are like
that actually are cut into caves, and it's really that's really more dwarven than it is hobbits. So
you should build. Luke said you should build a dome out of cattle panels, one way, then across the other way, then one more in between. That might be really cool. Make a little. I think that would be really fun for the kids. And then I think what about like the snakes?
We do get to build a root cellar here, which I don't think we ever will. But if we ever did, I would build it like a hobbit. Hobbit hole.
Like a little hobbit hole.
I would mound it up and make a big round door.
I wonder how difficult that would be with all the shell and the water that runs under a property, though.
Just seal it.
You'd have to seal it.
Yeah, we could do it. It would just be a pain in the butt.
Oh, thank you, Donna Jacobs. I really we've been really trying to make sure that we get content up daily right now because so many people have expressed to us how meaningful it is to them to have the escape. And actually, we keep talking. We've been on here for a really long time, but
we're 30 minutes over.
Hobbit hut with Kajari melons. That would be so cool. Baker Creek has this really long tunnel that has all these squash.
I was like, did you tell them how much we paid for our land?
Yeah, I said less than 100,000. That would be really cool to do like a dome. When you move on, will you look for another fixer-upper? I think we would probably build a house. That's something that we really. The only exception would be if we could find a really, really cool old house and get it cheap enough that we could actually gut it and remodel it to the level that it would need to be. But it's his dream to build a house. I like the old houses, but I think Jeremiah has given me my dream here. So I think that the next property is probably going to be his turn to get what he wants. He really wants to build, he wants to build his own house, conceptualize it and build his own house. Rihanna Bixler, suggestion on building a raised bed on a good slope. Thank you for the super chat. Do you have a suggestion on how to do that? It's really about just leveling.
Well, honestly, let's say the slope's going this way, you build them this way.
Yeah, and terrace with
one
the slope.
side is going to be more fill dirt than the other side.
Look into swales and terracing.
Or you could do like a hugelculture terracing kind of with logs and terrace it down. There's lots of options.
Yeah.
But I would not build them. If the slope's this way, I would not build them with the slope.
Yeah, downwards.
Because then all your stuff would just flow to the bottom.
All right.
We do not work outside the home. I'm a medically retired Marine, and then we YouTube and Homestead.
Yep. Yeah, at this point, I mean, the media is like the majority of our income. And like I do some writing and stuff like that.
All right.
All right.
Let's
We need
sign
to
off.
wrap it up because I got some stuff I got to work on. And I just thought of it. And I'm like, oh, dang.
Yeah. See you guys.
Bye, guys. We'll talk to you later. We bless you. Until next time.